It's good and it's cool, but it makes stuff up. Hitting it right away this morning with AI. I'm going to get started by generating a AI assisted resume today. Everybody needs a resume, right? Even people who are well established in their career should always have a good resume on hand. So that's what I'm going to do today. Not looking for a job or anything, just want to have a resume. And I'm going to get started by using topai.tools to find a good free AI resume writer. We have freemium tools, which I'm not interested in. I just want straight up free because I don't actually need a resume. If I needed a resume, I can and have in the past paid to help. I haven't had AI, I've never paid AI to help, but I've paid a person to help. I was not pleased with the results. I never gave that resume to a single person, and it was a few $100. But I would never do that again. Because of that, I have low expectations with the AI assisted resume. I think I'm pretty decent at writing resumes. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But I'm looking for a free one. This resume trick is not only free, it also includes cover letters. I dig that. I'm going to look at resume trick. What I think would be cool is if I could upload an existing resume and it could wordsmith it, ask me some follow-up questions, and then make it better and make it look better. A lot of resumes look boring. I like a resume that pops, and it doesn't pop because it's printed on yellow paper. It pops because it's got the critical things that a recruiter is looking for instead of having a background story. Looks like Resume Revival might be what I was just describing, where it takes your existing resume and modifies it. I'm going to try Resume Revival first. If that doesn't go good, I'm going to use Resume Trick. Do a quick read of what Resume Revival is offering. It's got 5 stars with 0 ratings. So it provides ATS optimized resumes that let you show up if somebody's doing a search of all of their digital resumes or in LinkedIn or in Indeed or something. Okay, Resume Revival's page looks pretty decent. It's clear, bright, and right. I kind of expected it to say upload my resume. We'll see. It's a ChatGPT based AI. Just fine, especially for the cover letter. Instead of uploading an existing resume, which would have been the ideal situation, and then it modifying from there, basically it's like every other resume building website I've ever been to where you type in a bunch of stuff. I'm Walt Disney, worked most recently at Universal Studios, and I need to summarize my duties and milestones. I think this part I might actually pull from a real resume and just copy and paste it in there. The first thing Resume Revival wanted to know from us makes perfect sense. How do I get a hold of the person who's applying for this job? The next thing it needs to know is where did you work before so that it knows what skill or what industries you're qualified for. Perfectly reasonable. Your education, obviously reasonable. And then it asked me for my job again. I don't know if it's looking for the job that I had before or if it wants the same job that I just talked about here in my employment history, but I'm going to do a different job. All right, I have input all the data and it looks like I am ready to generate my resume and cover letter, both from just 2 jobs, contact information, and education history. Okay, it took quite a while, probably 20-25 seconds, but it did load, and it starts with cover letter. And I see a mistake that I made. So it says, I'm writing a response to the job opening for the production coordinator at Six Flags. And in this last job, I didn't know if it wanted a previous job or for me to talk about the same job. What it's looking for is what's the job you're applying for, but the website or the app, whatever you want to call it, doesn't make that clear. So anyway, I put in a previous job, but I'm still going to use it as if it's the job I'm applying for. Walt Disney wants to work at Six Flags. Let's break down this cover letter and see what it gave me. Okay, the first two paragraphs are solid. When you're applying for a job, so I said that I'm applying for a management job and using my management history. There's some big things you got to pull out in the cover letter. One, you've got to pull out a little bit of your demeanor, a little bit of your personality. Another thing you got to pull out is your big takeaways that will impact the company you're applying for. So the AI did a good job of pulling that out without any input from me whatsoever. Okay, so here's a mistake that the AI made. It was trying to pull out some skills, and that's important. And it covers dollar amounts. Anytime in your cover letter you can put dollar signs that make you look good, you should put them in there. Fourth paragraph before dollar sign showed up, meaning talking about how much money I made or helped the company save or something like that. Again, in management, that's critical. And then it talks about how I leverage software such as ICM and Delta T. You, the viewer, don't need to know what ICM and Delta T are, but you do need to know that they're not software tools. So they're engineering firms. So for this cover letter to present them as software tools instead of as engineering firms is a big mistake. Of course, as the human, I have an obligation to correct that, but the AI, which is what I'm really testing here, I'm trying the AI at home, and in this case, I'm trying the AI for work. This is insufficient AI. I wonder if that changes the way it's written. It does, okay. So that's cool. If you don't like it, you can change it. I wish I could give it feedback and say, shorten this. So all of this was derived from the one job history that I said that I had, and it tried to figure out, I guess, what skills I had based on that job history. So like employee training, everybody who's ever had a supervisor role or a manager role or title has employee training. It's great that it pulled out energy consumption reduction, capital project management, workflow optimization. Those are all things that I did actually call out in my resume that I would want to broadcast as skills. I think that part did really well. I think this AI tool did a great job of pulling out the skills from how little information I gave it. Education history is, I can tell just by looking at it, it's too long. I do like how it pulls in the education of your workplace. That is undervalued by so many people. Having an education inside of a workplace, like through an apprenticeship or something like that. Or, if you've got 10 years managing a Six Flags, or you have a college degree that says you're qualified to manage a Six Flags, I'm going to take the person with 10 years with a proven track record, because that education is irreplaceable. You can't replace experience. College is very good. It's great. I'm not trying to downplay college. I'm just saying that the education you learn on the job should be pulled out in a resume, and I've never seen that before, and I've looked at hundreds of other people's resumes, and I think that's fantastic. Good job. Resume revival here. Last thing is it summarizes my experience, where it repeats every single thing that it had above it because it asked for not enough information. The way that this app could get the information that I'm saying it's missing is just having me upload the resume as is. So this is breaking down for the recruiter your strengths and weaknesses. So my guess is it's saying that if these are my weaknesses, areas for improvement, these are either things I can improve on my resume, or they're things I need to be ready to talk about in an interview, or they're things I just am going to have to live with. A huge problem here is it says that the direct experience with the process of decisions and specific methodologies are lacking. In my job history, so that's bad. And the reason that's bad is, where's my job history? My job history here is Chief Operating Officer. Just from that phrase, AI should pull out that that's a decision maker. So, missed the boat there and not being involved in the decision making process. Every executive in any company is going to be a decision maker. If they have chief or president or vice president in their title, they're decision makers. So the question is how do I get this in? Oh, choose a template. All right, I like this. So tried and true is awful. Strongly do not recommend that. The summary, the education, the experience. What you need to have is contact information and your skills or qualities that make you a good candidate first. Then after that, get into the rest of it. Get into your education, get into your work history. But that needs to be 1 and 2. So dislike it. Here, this one's good. So it has contact information, a summary, and then boom, skills, then the experience. So modern Maven, reasonable. Classy classic with the executive summary of my resume, no. Again, boldly modern is fine. Clean minimalist. Minimalist is usually pretty good. But if you're handing in a paper document, minimalist is the way to go. If you're uploading a digital version of it, you don't want to be a minimalist. So because of that, we're going to go with the boldly modern because this specific app was intended to be used in the digital format. So we're going to go with the digital format or the template we would want for a digital format. Okay, so here's the thing. I just went through all the skill gap stuff. And now I am trying to just print or display or download or something in this format. And when I click it, something happens, but then nothing happens. Okay, I figured out a few things. I don't want to have to start over and lose everything I have here, but I think there's a bug. A workaround for that is available on the desktop, but not on the phone version. So on the phone, I've got this add employment and experience. You generate, maybe that's what I need to do. No, it generated the cover letter, generated the resume. Okay, so the cover letter printed off fine. This button right here copies everything. So I can click this, then go over into Microsoft Word or Google Sheets or Google Docs or whatever, and then paste it over there and everything will be fine. The same is true for the resume. I can click each of these sections and paste them over. It's fine. Not what I want. Okay, I went ahead and updated the resume to see if it would download something new. It did not. So, copy and paste this over, but it's the right thing to do, but I don't actually need this resume. So I'm gonna try and refresh it and see if I can get the final resume format. Everything disappeared. Okay, so here we have the cover letter that was fully generated by the Revival Resume AI tool. Interestingly, it got my name and my city right and my email right, and it totally made up a LinkedIn account. Totally made that up. I did not add that anywhere. I didn't imply it was anywhere. And it used just / Walt Disney. Imagine my name was John Smith or Michael Johnson or, fill in the blank. It's ridiculous. Should not do that. It's making up stuff that could be missed by people, and I know they shouldn't miss it. It's their resume. AI can't do all the work, but still, don't make stuff up. That's a huge problem with AI today, or what we call AI. Broken record here, but the AI we have today isn't AI. It's not true AI, but it's good and it's cool, but it makes stuff up, and that's what it just did with my LinkedIn information. Totally made it up. Dear hiring manager is fine, and then I already kind of showed what this was, so I'm just going to scroll through it slowly because I've read it. No reason to go through it more. This having this little on the second page, a human would know that that's not right, and they would shrink this content enough to get that all onto one page. You don't need a multiple page cover letter when you've got just this. It's a waste of tree. Okay, so the conclusion here is Resume Revival did a good job of pulling out some keywords, using appropriate jargon, kind of prioritizing the area of importance for each section of my resume. That was good. It spelled out some things in a very clear and concise manner that you would want to display to a recruiter. So my takeaway from this and my recommendation from this is use this tool to get some copy and paste paragraphs that you can put in your resume, or sections you can put in your resume. Review them closely because the AI makes up stuff. And then format it yourself. Don't use a pre-built template. I couldn't even get it to work on this particular app. But no matter what, you should do it yourself so that you don't sound repetitive, and so that you are getting the hierarchy of the things that are important to the recruiter of the company that you're going for displayed in front of that recruiter first. Because if they don't like chapter 1, they're not going to go to chapter 2. So you've got to get the things that the recruiter wants first, and then go to the next things for more detail and more detail to try and ultimately get that phone call, right? Whole purpose of a resume is not to get you a job. The purpose of the resume is to get you an interview. And I think that Resume Revival is good enough that it is a good tool to use to get you the interview. It's not good enough to generate your resume, spit it out, send it to 100 people, upload it to LinkedIn and Indeed, and go to town. It's not going to be good enough for you. You're not going to get a lot of interviews. So with that being said, good luck in your job hunt.